Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for May 29th, 2022. So it is Memorial Day weekend for us here in the States, and I'm really taking it easy. I don't have a lot of plans. I go out in the morning to get a coffee, and then if I had to go grocery shopping, I did grocery shopping yesterday, and today I went again because there were some sales at another grocery store that I got some ice cream for 17 cents. So, you know, I just had to go. But I'm really taking it easy. I think it's just this week was long for, I think, a lot of us, just with things going on in the world and here in the US. It's just craziness. And I don't want to talk too much to that, just saying that I was definitely in escape mode I would just read, and I did a lot of reading, so, or listening to audiobooks when I wasn't. And it's just one of those things where sometimes I kind of retreat, and I think that was kind of what this week what happened. So so let's talk about, so there's not much else going on. I'm just doing normal things around the house. Every day I do a couple of chores, and I'm just relaxing, I guess. I just needed time, I guess, to myself. I don't know. Anyway, so mostly because my mom was here last weekend and she's going to probably come next weekend. So I'm like, I need to just do nothing this weekend. So, anyway, that's kind of it. I do still need to do the top, the shelf to see if I can fit it on to the bookshelves here. The one I bought one to test it. I haven't done that yet. So I would like to still do that. I just put things off. So maybe I'll do that, today or tomorrow. Make a decision if I can add the top shelves on my bookcases. If not, I really do need to clean them off anyway. Maybe I just need to find a way to stack books up there. I don't know. I need space so bad. Anyway, and if you saw my book haul, you know I'm just accumulating a lot. So let's see here. So let's talk about the books I read, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. So as I said, I was continuing my reread of the Side Changeling series. I read a couple of them this week. So I probably should just, I'll just talk about them all in a row, because then I don't have to do this over and over. So this is the Side Changeling series. Again, it's probably my favorite series ongoing at this time. It is a paranormal romance, urban fantasy, kind of futuristic because it's about 100 years into the future, but it's kind of, the world is alternate because there are people who have psychic abilities, changelings, and humans who are all vying for power. So it's very much a world you could recognize, but there's a lot of differences because of those changes. And again, it's all futuristic, but not much. And most of these books, again, they have romances in them because that is the main part of it. But the world building in here is one of the most complex for a series. I really enjoy all the arcs that happen. The first arc was the first 14 books, and then the 15th book was a bridge to the next series. And so we are into the next one because book 21 is coming out this July, which I'm super excited for. But I have to wait. So again, as I said, I started a rereading of the series. I started with the later books, and then I found that I own a lot of the later book audiobooks, but I did not own the first section, the first 11 I don't own on audio. So I got them, I found my library had them. So I listened to several of them last week. And so this week I also listened to 3 of them, and I'm in the middle of one. So, or 2 actually. Explain in a minute. So I did read number 5, which is Hostage to Pleasure. I had not read this in years, and I did not realize how much I enjoyed this one. This was actually one that was a surprise. I did not remember enjoying this one as much. If I had like tier ranked them, I probably put it this much lower than I would now, because I really, really enjoyed this one, and I'm glad I reread this one. So again, I had to start hopping around because certain books I didn't have access to because there's only one copy. So you have to kind of wait. So I had already skipped number 3, and then I'd read 1, 2, and then I skipped 3, and then I had 4, and then I read 5. And then 6 was also, I had to wait. And then, Blaze of Memory is number 7, which I really enjoyed as well. This isn't one of my favorite ones, but it's a good core book. It's just, I really like the characters in this and the stuff that you learn in here. So it still was a really good book. again, not one of the favorites, but it definitely was better than I remembered. And then I had to jump to one of the short story collections, Wild Invitation, which came out, I think it came out after this one, or right around that time. No, it did come out a couple of years. So this one came out in 2013. So that's still quite a few years before this. So this is kind of just intermixed because it has stories from the beginning of the series and then more later in the series. But there are 4 novellas, and it has one of my favorites. Stroke of Enticement is one of my favorites. So I really enjoyed that. And this one, yeah, that was the one. That was like, yeah. Anyway, so it was fun to listen to those. So these are the ones I read that I finished this week. So not too bad. As I said, I got through a couple more of them, but I really enjoyed them overall. So then let's talk about a series that I'm caught up on now. So I continued reading the SBI files. So this Phoenix Illusion by Lisa Sharon. I think I finished this one on Sunday. I really enjoyed this one. So again, this one is an urban fantasy. And it's kind of, the SBI is kind of like the FBI, but for supernatural things. And they make sure that nobody knows that the supernatural or otherworldly things, that they exist. So they hide it all. And we're following McKenna, who is a seer. And her partner is Ian, who is like ex-military, ex-cop, who has joined as well because he saw stuff that he didn't know about. She at least grew up knowing about stuff because she was a seer. Anyway, but the adventures have been just fun. Some of these books are just fantastic. I've really enjoyed them. This was a good one. I liked this one for, as I said, they bring bad guys from other books. Well, I mean, that have... that the ones that get away, they kind of pop up again and are involved in something more devious. This one has it where buildings are disappearing, like just odd buildings out in the middle of nowhere. And so they're trying to figure out why that is happening. I really enjoyed this one. This was really a fun ride. I like that one a lot. And then I continued on to book 7, the last of the books that are out at this time. I did find out book 8 is in the middle of being edited, or she's in the middle of it. So there is an 8th one coming. I'm so excited. So she did have to start independently publishing these after book 4. So, but I still love this series, and I'm so excited that there's another book coming now because I read book 7, and this one was definitely one of my favorites because this one has McKenna taking her love interest back to her hometown for Christmas, and it just goes to hell. It was really good. I didn't expect a lot of things that happened in here, or things that were revealed about stuff in the series that have been kind of hinted at, but you didn't quite know why. It was really a good book. If it had been the last book, I would have been almost okay with it. I mean, there's still a few loose ends, so I'm glad that there's more. But I was kind of worried until I went online and finally looked up on her website so that I would get her newsletter, so I'll know when the next book comes out. She claims it might be this fall, but we'll see. I'm just excited at this one. But this the Solstice Countdown was a really good one, and a good one to at least wrap up so far that I've gotten into the series. But I'm so glad I'm caught up on this. So I really enjoyed getting into the series. Then this is the thing I've liked about the binging, is that you get so attached to the characters, and then, everything kind of makes more sense when you read them back to back sometimes. Really enjoyed this urban fantasy and would recommend that one. Even if they're harder to find due to the fact that the last 3 are self or independently published, I thought they were so worth it. If you like the first 4 that you can usually get pretty easily, I would say go on. I love that series. Then I read a library book, and that is A Fine Romance, Falling in Love with the English Countryside by Susan Branch. So I saw this on Krista at Books and Jams. I think, did she read this in April or early May? I don't remember when she read this. She was talking about this, and it just sounded really interesting. And it's about a woman who goes with her husband on a trip. She takes the Queen Elizabeth II and goes across to England and spends 2 months there visiting friends and touring the countryside kind of thing. But they did it in a cool way. And then she's also, I guess she's done cookbooks and things, but she would put recipes in here, but she writes out the journal and then adds pictures and stuff. And it was really, really a really cool experience to see her love of England, of her visiting, because she lives at Martha's Vineyard. So it was really neat. It was really cute. It definitely makes me want to go travel again. I just, haven't been able to yet for a couple of years, but maybe soon. I don't know. We'll see. But I really love this. And what was so fantastic about this is that it reminded me so much of what last year when I got into Vita Sackville-West and the books I bought by her and about her, and the ones I did read and the ones I still have to read. So this one, she mentioned Sissinghurst, which is the property that Vita Sackville-West, who is a contemporary of Virginia Woolf, and they had this property that they made gardens, which now are part of the National Trust, or at least they're open to where you can go see them. And they talked about the National Trust, so the different parks and or the buildings that you can go look at and stuff. And she of course went to Jane Austen's the Chawton house, and she went to Virginia Woolf's sister's Vanessa Bell's house, which I don't remember the name of, but it was just, they were cool places I would totally go to. And the stuff with Vita Sackville-West was just awesome to read about, because again, it was one of those things where it was kind of a small obsession for a little bit, and now I want to read those books that I haven't got to yet, because I did read several of them, but now I'm more excited. So this was fun for that, and I think it was just an interesting travel log, or her journal, because she draws she's really a good artist, and it was just interesting how it was, is written as a journal, and it was printed out, and it would have little maps of where they went or what they saw, and I don't know, it was just cute. And so I'm really glad I took a chance on that and got that from the library. And again, it did reignite that I need to read some more Vita Sackville-West or stuff on her. So that was good. I enjoyed that. And then yesterday, I finally finished Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldier. So I started this in April, and then I got halfway through and set it down because something was about to happen that I was not too keen on. And I realize now, I'm having a trouble. I'm not in a super fantasy mood right now. Urban fantasy and paranormal romance, yeah, no problem. But, fantasy is... more direct fantasy is kind of hard for me. And then this one is different because it's very contemporary feeling, but with a fantasy setting. So we're following Viv, who is a mercenary orc who decides to leave that life, and she wants to build a business where she sells gnome coffee. And she has this plan, and she starts putting it in place, and then she starts meeting people as she makes her way into making this coffee shop, the first coffee shop in this town. And I really, really enjoyed this overall. As I said, I had that one hiccup in the middle, but I think that was mostly just my mood of reading. And I'm glad I waited and came back to it when I was ready for it. And I breezed through the last half. I just flew through it. It's only a 300-page book. It's not super long. It's really easy reading. It's a great, gentle, entry for people who don't read much fantasy and want to try it, because it's so slice of life, so normal. You could see things that nowadays kind of thing. And so it has that kind of tongue-in-cheek thing that where this is a fantasy world, but it's so much like our world kind of thing, which again was kind of hard for me because it was very contemporary, but it was cute. And I really, I'm really glad I did read this and got through it, and I enjoyed it in the end. I think as I said, I think it was just my mood, and that's when I started doing a lot of rereading, and changing what I was reading at the time, and because I thought I was going to read some other stuff and I didn't. I think I was just out of the mood. So I'm glad I waited on this one and came back to it. I think it was worth it, and I'm really glad I read it because it was so much fun. And I do recommend this one, especially if you want a light, just a light, cute read. I think it was really fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings out next. I do have an audiobook that he does for Will Wright for Unsold, or the first book in the Cradle series. So I might listen to that now that I know more about him. I don't know. So let's talk about the books I'm in the middle of, which is a lot because I'm all over the place. Anyway, so, oh, no, I do have it here. Sorry. So I have 2 Side Changeling books that I am in the middle of. I am right now almost done with Caressed by Ice, which is number 3 in the series. This is one of a lot of people's favorites, which is one of my favorites. It's not my top tier, but it's very, very close. This is definitely one of the best books in the first half of the series. This is just, yeah, it's fantastic. And as of rereading, I'm remembering how much I like it. So, anyway, so I'm almost done with that. I have about an hour left on my audio. So I'll probably finish it today at some point, either when I'm cleaning or I might start playing Animal Crossing again. Anyway, so I also had started While in Embrace before this one popped up because I picked up the other short story, or the novella collection that's later. This one came out later, just a few years ago, I think. And I read the first 2, and I just started the third one. There's 4 in here. So both those ones are pretty long. So I just put a pause on it for right now. Again, these are both from my library. Oh, I didn't mention these are all by Angela Daw, and she does a great job with the series. Her narration is fantastic. But I just put this on a pause because the story that takes place in here is way later than this one that I'm reading. And so I kind of want to read a few more of these that have come in on my library Libby app. So then I'll come back and read those 2 stories that happen after those. So anyway, so I'm hoping to finish this today, and then this one's still going to remain on hold for at least a little bit. I am still reading Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson with several people on Instagram. It's through Burner's Bookish Adventures, her year of reading a lot of big books. I don't remember the name of the thing anyway, but Warbreaker was the one I wanted to read with the group. So I didn't read yesterday, so I have to read today, like about 65 or 60 pages, about 60 pages. I meant to read yesterday, but then I got caught up in another book, which I'll show you. But this again is fantasy. This is one of Brandon Sanderson's earlier work. It's right now a standalone, but there's rumors that at some point he might write more to this in this world. So this is a world where it follows 2 sisters mostly. There's a lot of characters that it follows. So I would say the main line is following our main plot is following the 2 sisters. One is is going to be sent as a political bride to the God King the one who rules the country that they live in. And at the last minute, the father decides to send the younger daughter, who is not prepared for political reasons. He doesn't send the older. And it's their reactions to what happens when the younger daughter gets to the city, and then people that she meets and things that they have to deal with. And then again, there's a lot of political stuff of what is really going on. And then magic has to do with breaths and color. And when you have a lot of breaths, you have your very vibrant colors. And it's interesting. As I said, I thought this was a sci-fi before we started, but I'm getting into it. So as I said, I'm going to read my pages for today's reading. I should have done it yesterday, but I did not. So anyway, I'm on track with this one. We're probably going to finish it, late in June. So we'll be continuing to work on that. Oh, I did want to mention another the next one I'm going to listen to on audio is The Queen's Heart by Guinevere Gornichek. I did read it one day. I read about an hour's worth. And then I switched back to a Side Changeling book. And I figure I just have to get through more of those before, but I think I have to listen to this next. So after I finish Caressed by Ice, this is probably the one I'm going to listen to. So I did start it. This is a reread for me. This is one of my favorite books of last year. I love this book. This is a Norse mythology retold from the point of view of Angerboda. Is that how she says her name? Angerboda, who is a witch, and she's involved with the gods like Odin, and she and Loki can meet and things happen with them. Anyway, I really liked this book the first time around. I enjoyed the audio. It was hard. It was a start for me to, because I'd been listening to so much Angela Daw, so it's hard to switch to somebody else. But it's not bad. It's just I was not in the mood that day. I just wanted to go back to the Side Changeling series. But this is due sometime next week, and other people are waiting for it, so I need to listen to this and get it done. So I'm hoping this week I'll continue with that. And as I said, it's one of my favorite books of last year, so I do want to listen to that. And again, I might not listen to it again. I just was trying something different as a reread. And then the book that I picked up yesterday was The Murder of Mr. Wickham by Claudia Gray. So this is a new book that came out, and it's a mystery, but it's set, in the I think it's 1820s. So it's a little past when Jane Austen was alive and writing, but it's all her characters kind of later in life. And they're all at this house party at the Knightleys. Is it Donwell Abbey? I can't remember. Anyway, point is they're all there. And then Mr. Wickham shows up, and he is as bad as he ever was. And someone kills him. Anyway, so I have mixed thoughts about this one so far. I'm still interested, and I am going to continue. I'm about only 100 pages in, 130 pages in. So it's a pretty long book. It's like, what is it, like 380 pages. And I have no idea why it's so long. But it took a while to get to the murder. And now we're down with the aftermath. And so we have all the characters from, well, not all the characters. We have a lot of characters from different Jane Austen novels, which is great. A lot of them, I recognize because I've read all her novels. And the thing is, though, because they're older, much like it's past the times when their novels a lot of them took place early during the Napoleonic Wars kind of area, that these are later. And so they've grown up, and some of them have kids, and we get to see a couple of them, which is cute. I guess I like them. They're kind of interesting. But the decisions made on certain things, it's really funny, is that she's pulled certain things that those are the things I don't like about those characters, and she's like focused on them. And I'm like, I don't know if I like that or not. And I know it's probably done because this is a murder mystery, and all the characters have to be somehow, it has to be bad, it has to be all connected. I like the way things are connected to Mr. Wickham. I think that was done really well. Made, totally made sense. Just some sad things about it too. Some of the decisions, I'm like, oh, that's sad. But so I would just see. I'm not loving it. I don't hate it though, but I want to read it. So, maybe someone else might like it more than I will, but I'm going to at least continue on and see. It's the first book I've read by Claudia Gray, even though I've seen her name around, but as I said, we'll see. So it's the library book, so I need to read that and get that done. So that is what I'm in the middle of. I don't know what I'm going to pick up after The Murder of Mr. Wickham. Physically, as I said, I will continue reading Warbreaker. I might pick up for a reread for The Wolf by Hannah Whitten week Tuesday, For the Throne comes out. And I really, really want to reread this. So I might dive into this one because it's over 400, it's like 430 pages. So I might pick up this as a reread. And if not, I have a lot of other books that will be on my June TBR that I could pick up as well. I don't know if I'll get The Murder of Mr. Wickham done today. We'll see. I have, as I said, I have 300 or 200 pages, 240 pages, I think, or something left. So we'll see if I get to it. If not, tomorrow I'll pick something off of that I've put on my TBR. I should have that up tomorrow, my TBR for June. But I'm really looking forward to reading this. If not, I'll pick up something else. I got so many books I could read. If I want to continue some other series, that's fine. But I kind of really want to reread that before the new book comes out. So let's just do my board. As I've kind of gotten it. It's kind of chaotic because of all the things I've done. I did do, 3 rereads with the Side Changeling. And then I continued one in the SPI files, but I'm going to put down that I finished, because technically the series is done at now. I've caught up. So, and I don't have a date for the next book. So I'm going to say I finished. So I've completed up to that. And I think that's all I did. Why do I feel like I forgot something that I read? I had the library. Oh, that's it. I had a standalone fantasy, and I had the library book. So, well, I mean, it's not nonfiction. It was more memoir. So I'm not going to mark that as nonfiction. Well, what the heck? We'll just, it's memoir, but it's my only nonfiction. I haven't read much nonfiction this year. I've actually looked at that recently and go, I'm not reading nonfiction. So I'm going to try to put more nonfiction in. I'm going to get through my audiobooks. As I said, I have a lot of audiobooks from the library right now. I have a couple more Side Changeling ones came in that I asked for. I have to finish The Witch's Heart, and then I have one other one that I want to try. So we'll see. But look at all those rereads. And anyway, so I think that's it. Pretty normal. Just I got a lot read, but as I said, it's kind of a mixture of reread and read right now. And I mean, I said as soon as I get through the rest of the series, I think with the Side Changeling, I might pull back from the rereads. But as I said, there's still ones I want to reread by audio. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? We'll see what happens next week. So I hope you guys, if you are in the States, if you have a good Memorial Day, if you guys do have it off. I feel bad. My brother does not. He has to work. It'll be a quiet day for him, but poor guy, he has to work. But I get it off, so we'll have fun. So anyway, what are you guys reading? Anything good? Anything you want to tell me, let me know. Or if you've read any of the books, let me know what you thought, and I will talk to you guys later.